Coming to this angel journey, right? You started out with IAN and you were there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you.
So I was basically, trying to set up an accelerator. Actually,
Acha.
that's the honest truth.
Okay.
Because
IAN Alpha or something. No. What is it?
no, so IAN had an IAN incubator,
Uh-huh.
and they were trying to sort of try and do something bigger. And in that journey, I thought, okay, let me branch out on my own and let
Very
me,
interesting.
start my own incubator. Accelerator, actually, not even an incubator, because at that time I thought to myself that incubator is an old idea.
Yeah.
Now we need accelerators, because why should a founder be sitting for a year in this so-called incubator? I mean, you need to give a bullet, to a founder, and 3 months is more than enough for
Absolutely.
a founder to
I
sort
agree
of,
with that.
And the other way I thought about this was, I said, okay, won't take equity, will charge a fee, like it'll be like a course, so it'll be a
acceleration
fee.
fee, yeah.
It'll be a fee, and you sort of open up doors, give them access, to various people from different walks of life, whatever, like not have a structured course, but
Okay.
sort of have. Mostly provide access. Actually, that was to whatever would be there.
When IAN network is really large.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Or is
So
really large. Right?
yeah. So and then when I thought of doing it on my own, because I also did have a network, and I thought, I'll bring, and I spoke to some people, and they said, yeah, very happy to give back. So by that time, there was enough. There were enough people already who, both from the corporate world and from the startup ecosystem, who wanted to give their time. And there weren't that many. I mean, the number of founders was not that large, right? So it was easier to sort of give time. But what I realized very quickly was that I could have put Jeff Bezos in front of these founders. After the first conversation, the second question used to be, are you writing a check? And I'm like, okay, the market is telling me something that, that these guys are. And you realize again that the need for capital is so intense in India that a founder puts their needs very clearly in front of you. And you can't possibly ignore it and say, oh, no, I signed up to give you some Gyaan or get you some Gyaan or access. And they're like, no, we need something tangible like capital. So that's how the whole thing, and, I was talking to a bank at that time, and, the conversation was fairly advanced. And because it's a listed entity, they were having their internal sort of approvals. In the interim, I got, a couple of big investors who said, look, why don't you just deal source for us? And, let's look at the entire startup.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
An early stage again. Okay.
Early stage. Because these guys had lots of access to, very later stage. And of course, they had access to capital markets. And anyway,
They were not funds themselves. They were just
individuals.
Okay.
So the thing was that let's look at early stage. And that's basically, I said, okay, fine. This is what I'm hearing from the founders. Let me do deal sourcing for these two. And, because we didn't have a name, so I had a company, and, SEBI doesn't allow you to use the name before you get the license, right? So we created a quick name called Angel Works. And
I like the name though.
yeah,
Angel Works.
I like it too, and it did well actually, because it got a little bit of salience with founders. So and because the entire regulatory framework at that time was already moving towards, basically MCA was not willing to let you hold in a private limited, equity in private limited or in LLP, because then, there was a certain
NBFC,
threshold. And I think there was a concerted
So then
attempt.
AngelWorks would invest also, or that was not the platform?
No. So as AngelWorks, you would deal source, and these two
investors would invest.
Would put their money directly, and with the idea that this would morph into a fund, because like I said, it was not possible for individuals to come together, right? I mean, there was no way.
Yeah.
And that's how Rukam happened, because the market basically told me that nobody's interested in Gyaan. They all want money.
Well, also I think there's no alignment, right? When you're not willing to put money behind something, at least in the founder's mind, and this may be if you're willing to give me Gyaan but not money.
If you talk to founders, and even today I'll say this, you talk to founders and they'll say, oh, can you introduce us to so and so? We want to really learn from that person. And I'm like, hello, you don't want to learn from that person, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're right. I mean, of course, we now...
क्योंकि वो ओल्ड एडिज है ना अपने इकोसिस्टम में कि जब पैसे चाहिए तो पैसे चाहिएंगे तो ज्ञान मिलेगा और ज्ञान मांगे तो पैसे मिलेंगे.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.